Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Poland, beaming out to you from the Sunshine Coast in Australia, joined today by Matt Easton. Matt, g'day, sir. Welcome from down under. Where are you hanging out, buddy?
Pleasure to be here, Tom. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. How did you go with the midterms yesterday? It looked like your candidates are getting elected. Or should we just not go there?
I'm a salesperson, Tom. So what I've figured out is, you know what, no matter who gets elected or what's going on, if I can control my business and my top line revenue, it's all good. So I don't tend to worry too much about elections.
Amen. I mean, my wife says to me, we're in Mercury retrograde. Your marketing's not going to go so well this week. I'm doing it anyway.
Right.
If you're going to go and start a war in Ukraine, I'm still going to keep going with my marketing. Might send them a donation, but yeah, 100%. So, folks, one of the reasons that Matt is a pleasure to have on the show is that he does things differently. Yes, he's a sales warrior, but he's also understands balance in life. And I think he has a value set that's a whole lot wider than just sales and marketing. And that's always music to my ears. Matt, one of the shortest bios in the world, which I'll read to you now. Matt Easton makes it a whole lot easier, more predictable. God, I love that word. Less stressful and more fun to get sales happening.
Sounds like a great guy. I want to meet this guy.
Yeah. But that's the whole predictability thing, isn't it? And that's what's so much missing in sales. People wake up with anxiety. They practice random acts of sales. They have roller coaster revenue. And so it's the predictability and it's less stressful and it's easier. So let's rock and roll. Matt, title today is How to Close the Deal in Business and Life. Our 7 minutes is going to start right now. Question number one, sir, who is your ideal client?
Ideal client's going to be sales reps, managers, business owners, entrepreneurs, anybody, Tom, who wants to increase sales and top line revenue. Those are two different things because I can increase sales and give my products away. As a marketing genius, there comes a point where we're giving too much away there. Anyone who wants to increase sales and top line revenue without having to spend their entire budget on advertising or give away their profitability and discounts.
Right. Perfect. Thank you, sir. So question two, how would you define the problem that you solve?
Well, I would define it this way, and hopefully it will resonate with some of the audience out there. Really, this is a terrible statistic, but it's accurate. 98.4% of people in charge of sales, people in charge of business development, don't have a simple process. What do I say? When do I say it? How do I do it to close business? And it would literally be like here in the United States with the national football team, the league, that would be like 31 of the 32 teams just show up on Sunday and try really, really hard, but they don't have a game plan. They don't have an offensive coordinator. They don't have a playbook. It would be a complete disaster in sports. Yet that's how 98.4% of businesses are managing their offense. That's how they're handling their offenses. We're just going to work really hard and hope for the best.
That's so true. Yeah. That's so true. And if there is a game plan, they don't stick to it.
Correct.
So what would you say, this is question three, what would you say some of the symptoms are of this salesperson or this sales leader or this sales team?
Yeah. So symptoms are going to be the obvious is I don't know how to close. And I'll teach you guys how to do that right here on this call. Okay. Don't know how to close. Don't know the difference between objections and complaints. Just because somebody has a complaint doesn't mean they're not going to buy from you. Just because they're complaining doesn't mean they won't go out on a date with you. If that was the case, my wife would have never married me. Right. And we end up, a big symptom of this in the business world is we end up trying to overcome a complaint because somebody from back in the day trained us on how to overcome objections. In most cases, worst possible thing you could ever do. But we're trying to overcome complaints and we're having these microaggressions and micro arguments with our customers that don't need to have to be there. The last piece, the last symptom is they don't have a sustainable pipeline. So they're getting geniuses like you on the marketing side to fill their funnel with leads. And they're saying things like, oh, they're not qualified. They'll never buy. I won't call them back again. You should have a sustainable pipeline where you can reach back into that pipeline at any time and reinvigorate it and pull revenue out of it.
So it sounds like the actual sales process is a point of conflict, therefore a point of stress, and not having the predictability that pipeline is also a source of stress. So
100%, 100%, Tom. Yeah.
Predictability like, might be boring, but it's certainly not stressful.
Correct. And unfortunately, a lot of the game plans that people are having, the common mistakes that they're making is they're using an old game plan that's like taking the playbook from a football team from the 1920s when they wore leather helmets and smoked cigarettes during the football game.
Yeah.
Right. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work today.
Yeah, I see 100%. I see that from the sales systems from the 1950s, for God's sakes, being lipstick on a pig and using it again. So
100%.
Real quick, give us a couple of. So we're talking about people that are the sales oriented, the growth oriented. They want to try new stuff. They realize they've got this problem, but before they find your solution, what would you say a couple of the common mistakes are that they make?
They think they know everything. Right? They think they've got it down. They underestimate the amount of people that they're going to have to talk to sell their product. And we see these cold wars, if you will, between marketing departments, if it's a large organization, and sales, or if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, a cold war between you and whoever you're buying your leads from, where you think it's them and they think it's you. It might be both, but unless you specifically know, here's exactly what I say, here's exactly how I close deals, you're a big part of that problem.
Right. Perfect. Thank you, sir. 2 minutes left. Let's go to a top tip. Question 5. What can you offer people that won't solve the whole problem? They might need you for that, but it might get them started and a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I can change their life right now. I can change your life right now too, Tom. How about I teach
everybody?
How about I teach everybody, including yourself, how to close right here, right now?
This is the part I've been waiting for. A drum roll. Go for it.
Okay. All right. Boom. I'm going to show you how to close both in your business career and in your life. Tom, let me ask you this. What do you say to close a deal?
Would you feel comfortable about moving ahead?
Okay. Would you feel comfortable about moving ahead? I like that. It's very, very good. Okay. You've clearly been around, but let me tune that up a little bit more for you. And to rewind a lot of people who aren't where you're at right now, as they say things like, hey, do you want to sign the agreement? Can we get this in front of the board? Do you want to have lunch together? Okay.
Right.
People are exponentially more likely to move forward to do things based on their reasons and not your reasons. So what I'd like everybody to start saying is, does it make sense to blank? Because I might not feel comfortable doing something, but it might make sense. Every time I go to my doctor, they get me to do stuff that I'm not comfortable doing, but it makes sense. So if we just change that wording to, does it make sense to blank? Hey, Tom, does it make sense to sign the contract? Does it make sense to get this in front of the board? Does it make sense for you and I to have lunch together? If that person says no, it positions you perfectly because you've asked them a timing question, right? To go, no, it doesn't make sense. Got it. What's a good next step then?
Oh, then, love it.
Yeah, so shut up and let them answer, right? If they don't know, say, point the question at yourself. What's a good next step for me? Or what's a good next step on my end? And then at that point, if they still don't know, you can set a next step. Hey, Tom, I'll call you Friday if I haven't heard from you before that. Fair enough?
10 seconds left. Where can people go to find out more about what you do?
EastonUniversity.com. EASTON University.com.
And what are they going to find there, Matt?
They can jump on my free video tips mailing list. I will be sending them useful tips, just like the one we went over right now on a very regular basis. No cost to them.
Matt Easton, you brought a lot of value in a very short space of time. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your insights, and you're just oozing with experience. Thanks. It makes sense.
Tom, thank you so much. Pleasure being here. Yeah, it makes sense. If it ever makes sense for us to talk again, let me know.
We should do that. Thank you. Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.